Hello again, everyone. Marcus here. I review stuff today. I'm reviewing this Coke Zero. It's delicious. I'm also reviewing Egg by, Dejo. I'm going to say Dejo, all right? Here's the thing. When I first started reviewing Dejo on this channel, thank you guys so much for putting me on to his music, I would say Dejo. And then people were coming at me in the comments saying, oh, it's just pronounced Joe, the D is silent or whatever, right? So then I just started pronouncing it Joe. And then people started coming for me in the comments saying, like, why are you just pronouncing it Joe? There's very clearly a D there. Why are you not saying Dejo? So, truth be told, I have no idea how to say the name of this artist, but to me, I'm like, it's Dejo. There's a D there. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I'm listening to the song Egg. I just finished eating a delicious Santa Fe chicken sandwich from Jason's Deli. I get mine with an egg on top. So egg is on the brain right now, absolutely. I'm thinking about how great Egg is. Hopefully this song is just as good. I don't know what this intro is. I've never done this before. I'm going off script. So anyway, let's jump into it. Egg, Dejo, here we go.
I was downtown late last night. I was walking around last night. Past a man we looked as it hit hard, there goes time. Stranger once in your life. He whispered with a shiner as he wanted to be me, and I him, my only shine. Your entire life is wiped clean from the bathroom window. You etched out the steam. And when I take a step out of me towards a stranger, the muscle suit pumps, it feels like second nature. Original man of clear and present danger. Don't you wish you could be somebody else? Somebody else. Somebody else. Somebody else. I'm crawling out of my skin. Saw me through the eyes of the world. Laying on a stomach, she was looking at me. Open-eyed but so chained me now. And deep in her is a reflection of me. I can feel how you feel right now. And something dominates me, holds my hand to the fire. Young man versus another kind. Every single step that you take is just another one back. Another step to take back. Another regret. You're just gonna let fear take that. 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 Back in the shell, my life in the cave. People go by, I smile and wave. But deep down inside, there's always that fear that I'm not enough. I seem cavalier. But some night, I'm cold 'cause I'm weak. Deep down inside, there's nothing unique. Man is a mole, and nothing is new. So why not release and let it come through? 'Cause I'm fighting the flame, I'm gasping for air. My back is big, man, panache and flair. Back to the egg, it's crimson and gold.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a whole lot, actually. And the person who requested this kind of warned me that I would probably love this song. So thank you for that heads up, and thank you for requesting this song. Because yeah, this was great. And honestly, this is the third song now I've heard from this album. I know "Basic Being Basic" is one of them, but I'm blanking on the other one. "Delicia." I've heard that one as well. So I've heard "Basic Being Basic," I've heard "Delicia," and now I've heard "Egg." I used to hold off on listening to like any new music because I was always like, well, what if somebody requests it from on my channel or whatever. But it's just like there's so much music in the world that I can listen to whatever I want, whenever I want, discover as much new music as I want, and there will always be something else to review. So now, like when YouTube, for example, is like, hey, check this out, there are times when I'll be like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna listen to this on my own. And then there are other times, like with Ghosts, Satanize recently, I was like, I'll hold off on that one just to make sure, I think that one will go over well on the channel. So I think a little bit more strategically now, where I'm like, if I think it's going to do well on the channel, I'll hold off on it. But otherwise, like, I'm jumping in. So I will say, 3 songs into this album that I've heard, it's shaping up to be a good one, honestly. Like, how many tracks were there total? Looks like there's 12. And I like 3 of them already. Like, I like "Basic Being Basic," I like "Delicia," and I loved "Egg" just now. So, hey, shaping up to be a really good album. Excited to kind of listen to the rest of it. Not sure how many more videos I'll do for the album, but, we'll see. We'll see about maybe coming back with a review or something. Anyway, let's break it down piece by piece like we always do, of course, starting with those lyrics. So, I was downtown late last night. I was walking around last night, past a man. We locked eyes. It hit hard. There goes time. A stranger once in your life, and whispered with his shiner as he wanted to be me and I him. My only shine, your entire life is wiped clean from the bathroom window. You etched out in the steam. What about him, though? I think that's one of those interesting things, for those who are always thinking, for those who are always pondering and wondering, right? Is like sometimes it's one of those like existential crises almost, right? Where you like think about the fact that every just random person that you meet on the street is sort of the main character in their life, in their story. They have thoughts and feelings and wants and needs and all these things. And so, again, like as he's saying, I pass this man, we lock eyes, and there's sometimes those moments where you're like, that is a whole person who I may never really meet or get to know or understand, that has, up until this point, lived life completely separately from me, right? I think it's an interesting feeling, like when you stop and dwell on things like that. So that's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. Is again, that you have that moment of like, what is this person's life like, and you start to kind of put yourself into their shoes and think about like, where do they go home to, like what does their house look like, what are the things that they do for entertainment, that kind of thing. Anyway, and when I take step out of me towards the stranger, the muscle suit pumps, it feels like second nature. Original men, a clear and present danger. Don't you wish you could be somebody else? And so sometimes, yeah, that feeling of like, well, what if I was somebody else? What if my life was entirely different, I'm crawling out of my skin, saw me through the eyes of the world. Laying on her stomach, she was looking at me open-eyed, but so chain me now, and I don't know if these lyrics are correct. Some of them are just kind of weird or wordly. Anyway, open-eyed, but so chain me now, and deep in her is a reflection of me. I can feel how you feel right now. And something dominates me, holds my hand to the fire. Young man verse another kind. Again, I think some of these lyrics are wrong because they just don't make sense. Every single step that you take is just another one back, another step to take back, another regret. You're just going to let fear take that. You're just going to let fear take that. You're just going to let fear take that. So to me, this section of the song sounds like we talked about like thinking about other people's lives, kind of putting yourself in those shoes, and then eventually thinking about like, how might my life be different? But it sounds like this part of the song is more like, Are you really going to let that hold you back? Thinking about how others might have it better or have it differently than you. Are you really going to let that stop you from making your own life better? That's kind of how I'm reading into this, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm going to keep reading here. Back in the shell, my life in the cave. People go by, I smile and wave, but deep down inside, there's always that fear that I'm not enough. I seem cavalier, but it's all an act. I'm cold because I'm weak. And deep down inside, there's nothing unique. But man is a mold and nothing is new. So why not release and let it come through? I'm fighting the flame. I'm gasping for air. I'm back as a big man with panache and flair. Back to the egg. It's crimson and gold. I'll follow the rules and do what I'm told. Can one be great? Can one be kind? When history shows they're not intertwined. So what will you choose, your heart or your pride? Could you really be so self-satisfied? So the first part of this verse, or I guess bridge, whatever you want to call it, it feels like he's like, I'm an introvert, right? Like, I'm going to go back into my shell, back into my cave. And a sort of fake being, a non-introvert, right? People go by, I smile and wave, I pretend like, everything's cool and that I'm not an introvert. But deep down inside, there's always that fear that I'm not enough, right? And so this comes that reflection again of like, what if my life was different? What if things were different for me? What if I was maybe better, right? What if I was better at doing things, at being a human? I was more talented or successful or whatever, right? But really, this whole like back half of this bridge sounds a lot like just that reflection of like, history shows that greatness and kindness are not necessarily intertwined. Is it possible to be both? I think that's just very interesting reflection there. And this song has, I think, this song lyrically is very interesting, and I think it's super relatable for a lot of people, right? Where you're just trying to do the best that you can, but there's just always that nagging in the back of your head of, comparing yourself to others, or thinking about, again, how your life might have been different if you had made decision X, Y, or Z, So anyway, crawling out of my skin, saw me through the eyes of the world. Could you really be so self-satisfied? Is that you? I'm crawling out of my skin. Is that the child who's afraid in you? Saw me through the eyes of stop. Is that you? The world, the world, the world, the world, the world. And I think one thing I haven't touched on yet, because this is not the first time he said like saw myself through the eyes of the world, is that he may be an introvert or whatnot, but ultimately he is on multiple very public stages, right? He is a musician. I would say probably at this point a fairly successful musician, right? So people of course see him in a certain way. They see him through his artwork. He's also a TV and a movie actor, right? So people see him that way as well. So it's like, despite being an introvert, he has sort of this global audience of people who might be judging his every move, or who he feels like he has to appease, right? So I think that is an important thing to note about the lyrics of this song. I think regardless, and again, I think maybe some of the typing it, some of the the way some of these lyrics are written was maybe an error on the person who typed this up, because some of them were like, okay, I don't think that's the word he said, but sure. But regardless, I think the lyrics here are very relatable, very powerful. Something that I think most people who have this sort of public platform probably have to reckon with at some point. So yeah, I think it's a super interesting lyrically. I'm gonna give it 2 big thumbs up. As far as the instrumentation and vocals go, I like his vocal style. I think many of the songs I feel like I've heard either from him or even on this album, from the ones that I've heard, are a little bit more spoken word, with like his almost just like he sounds like somebody who is maybe disinterested or sad or whatever, and he's just kind of like speaking lyrics out loud. I do like his singing voice, and I think as the song progresses, I like the sort of emotion that you feel in the vocal performance. I really like the instrumentation as well. You had a lot of like synth, a little bit of bass, some nice little guitars. These pieces kind of came and went as different parts of the song. Like, I don't remember hearing the guitar throughout, but there were little sections of it where it kind of added a little bit of flair and intrigue to the song. This really reminded me of like the slow rush era of Tame Impala. This is reminiscent of like a Tame Impala song to me in parts. I mean, it's not obviously a one for one. But to me, I was like, yeah, I can hear a little bit of like Tame Impala influence in here. I feel like, unfortunately for a lot of a lot of people who are maybe not necessarily indie heads, Tame Impala is like one of the few indie bands that like a lot of people know. I wouldn't even call them indie anymore because I think they have fully broken into the mainstream, right? But all that to say, like, I hear some of that here, especially in the progression, especially as the song goes on. How more energy is infused kind of in the back half of the song. So, regardless, I mean, I like Tame Impala, so don't get me wrong. This is not, I'm definitely not trying to draw a negative comparison. This is a very positive thing for me. I really enjoyed this song instrumentally and vocally. I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up there. As far as replay value goes, I think this song is like an instant playlist song for me. Can't wait to listen to it again. This, and again, along with those other 2 songs I've heard from the album, have me intrigued. They have me wanting to come back for more. To me, that ups the replay value automatically. So 2 big thumbs up on that one as well. Thank you so much for the person who requested this song. It was a good one, so thank you. As always, if you enjoyed the music as much as I did, go support the artists. Go listen to their music wherever you can. And if you'd like to support me and my channel and see more of what I do around here, consider, supporting the channel. Like and subscribe and comment, all that stuff. I guess helps me stay both in your algorithm and maybe find other people's as well. So, yeah, do those things. And that's it. Hey, you can even check the description if you'd like to follow me on Twitch, TikTok, or Instagram. I don't really post on either of those any of those platforms very much. But hey, the option's there. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.